Now we can officially start the evening. First of all, thank you very much to all of you for attending. As you can notice, the idea tonight is to go in English, also because we have a special guest. If there is someone having some problem in understanding some of the things that we will discuss, just raise the hand and we will make a direct translation in Italian of what Ari will say, ok? Se qualcuno non dovesse capire quello che diciamo, può alzare la mano e facciamo una traduzione immediata in italiano. So first of all, as an introduction, as I wrote to you, we are member of the alumni sailing club of the business school of Polytechnic of Milan, and so we are amateur sailors that met each other during the MBA experience that we did at Milan Polytechnic in different years. There is someone who attended the MBA 20 years ago, others that are just attending last year. What does this sailing club does? Basically, we organize events all together. We organize visits to companies that are involved to sailing. For instance, last month, we went to Persico. I don't know whether you know this shipyard in Italy, where they also manufacture a lot of boats that are now used in the Vendée Globe. And
I think the Italian guy has a boat which has been built.
Yeah, for sure. Now the boat that is used by Jean Le Cam was built also, by Persico. Yeah. And there is a championship involving most of the business school in Europe, with different events in each single country. So we try to attend some of these events. These are races, real regattas, in order at the end of the year to win this championship of the business schools. So this is what we do, and we also organize our event in Italy next year, because now we're close to the end of the year. We'll be organized again in Sardinia. And so we have some days of networking event, the regattas, and then it's a good opportunity also to meet each other, because we are from wherever in the country, but also from abroad. That's the reason. And just 1 month ago, we have decided to try this experiment. So due to the Vendée Globe race that was starting, we said, why don't we have some evenings all together when we can sit down, discuss about the race, to check the routes, to check the routage, to make some weather analysis together. And so we started with a general background about weather, routage, and things like that. And then we switch to a more detailed analysis of the race, how it's going on. And for this last event, it was fantastic to have someone who really did the Vendée Globe. And I want to share my screen because I have a brief presentation and with some slides that describe exactly what we are going to do tonight.
Okay, I will.
So basically, as I said, we have our special guest, Ari Huusela, and he will make an introduction later on about himself. I just want to tell you that Ari made the Vendée Globe in 2020, so the last edition of this race, and he finished this regatta, and it's something that it's not so evident and so easy to be done. So we want to have a brief discussion with him, asking about his experience, how he prepared for a Vendée Globe, how he became an ocean sailor, solo sailor. And then later on, we will, as usual, discuss the analysis of the current routage on Windy and Coutille WLM, which is the routage software that we use. And then if there are some questions about, in general, the journey that we did together in these 4 events. Ari, it's absolutely up to you to stay till the end. We are more than welcome for that, but really it's up to you. We don't want to force you for everything. You are so kind that you attended tonight, so thank you again.
Yeah, sorry about this. My my dinner time at the same time, but
Ari, don't worry, really, no problem, because every day we watch videos of sailors from the Vendée Globe, and normally when they are inside the boat, they're used to eat because they need to eat and they need to sleep, I think. So
yeah,
this is just a brief description about Ari. Ari is not may I say that you are not a professional sailor, even if you see here the curricula of Ari about ocean races. I mean, it's a curricula that I would dream to have. So basically, Ari is officially an airline pilot, right? Of an Airbus
yes, yeah,
350 now.
yeah. I'm still
You're a pilot of
there
Finnair.
flying. Finnair, yes, Finnish flag carrier.
Yeah.
We have like more than 20 Airbus 350s, and we fly mostly to Asia, and then some routes to Northern America, but mostly to Asia.
To Asia.
Hong Kong, Singapore, Tokyo, Narita, Tokyo, Haneda, Osaka, Nagoya, and lots of places there on the east.
Fantastic. I mean, what a life, I would say. And then I see that in 1999 you made a mini transat. So first important event. So for the one of you that maybe doesn't know what a mini transat is, it's an important competition. It's an Atlantic crossing made on this particular 6.5 meter boats, driving basically the sailors from France to the Canary Island and then to the Caribbean. So how did you start it? Which was the spark that brought you to make the mini transat in 1999?
It's a long story, but my colleague on like 13 years earlier, on 1986, my colleague asked me if I could join his crew, sailing crew, and he was like a very enthusiastic racer. He did only races, and I went to sail with him, and on that same year there were two Finns who participated the race around the world with the four legs, 4 stopovers, and those two Finns, I followed them quite thoroughly, and then the other one wrote in some article that there is a race called Mini Transat, which sounded like a reasonable and something I could try to kind of involve and get in. But I had just started my sailing. I had never sailed before.
Really?
I was I was on that time.
Incredible.
86. I was like 24 years old, and I never sailed any dinghies and that kind of thing. So we did some offshore races in Baltic Sea, but that's not quite a big sea. It's like inner lake almost.
Yeah.
And But then I bought my own boat with another colleague next year, and then started to learn about sailing. And after 13 years of this first sailing, I was there on the starting line of Mini Transat.
Fantastic.
So that was my big dream come true. And always when I did these races, I thought that this is the maximum what I can achieve. I don't have the resources to do anything else, anything bigger. But finally, step by step, during like 25 years, I was on that picture which you have on the slide. So my first mini transat, when I started the project, I went to find a mini boat and see what kind of boats they are. And I went to France, and that was like big coincidence, but I was there on the Sable d'Olonne on the Vendée Globe pontoon on 96, just before when they started that race. And that was the first like touch for the Vendée Globe.
Incredible.
Then on 2021 I finished the race, so that was 25 years totally. And now I'm really, but I've done 2 mini transats, and then I did Route de Rome with my Pogo 40, which was cruising version of Pogo 40, and from 2007. So that was 2014 when I did that, and then I finally stepped into the IMOCA and did again Route de Rome in 2018, and then Trans-Saquabre in 2019.
Incredible.
So,
Incredible curricula idea. Also because I think that anyway, in order to be able to attend and to apply for the Vendée Globe in 2020, you had to make some miles of qualification. So basically, the Route du Rhum, the Transat Jacques Vabre, basically were mandatory steps in order to be able then to apply for that.
For sure, they were mandatory, and there was also one long race which was 2,000 miles long. It was the spring 2019. Yeah, it was 2019, and that was also quite a long race. It started from nearby Brest in France, and then we went around the Fastnet, and then to Azores, and then back to France, to Brest.
2,000 nautical miles alone again.
Yeah. But about the mini class mini, that's very important class for IMOCA sailors. On 2020, when I was on the start line, there were 18 of 33 skippers who had done mini transat.
Really?
So
18?
More than half of the IMOCA skippers have started from minis. And we have a nice sticker from Class Mini. We have a nice sticker which I have had on my boat. It's like born in the Mini.
Born in the Mini, passing through the Class 40, and then going to the IMOCA.
Yeah, but the Mini is like kind of high school for starting the solo sailor career.
And I was sailing for the first time alone in the Atlantic Ocean on such a small boat. I mean, we are talking about, okay, the IMOCA is very fast, very complicated, but it's 18 meters boat, quite big. The Mini Transat is just to give you some reference to our Italian colleagues. I mean, 6.5 meters is like a Meteor in terms of size. Meteor is quite a well-known boat that is used here in Italy, designed by Van der Staat. It's quite old, but just to give an idea about the size of this boat, it is quite small at the end.
Yeah, it is very hard class, and now it's also developed to really high-end racing machines. I had also a prototype on 99, and that was quite a task to get the boat on the start line, and the qualification process was also quite hard and heavy, and it's so popular nowadays that it's really hard to get into the mini transat, the main happening. I think you have to go through like at least 2 seasons on all the races which there are on the Mediterranean and on the Atlantic side, and then you might end up to get a place on the mini transat.
Yeah.
So because I had actually 2 projects which didn't went so well. On 2003, I tried to do mini transat again.
Okay.
Because on 99 it was really horrible. The weather and the conditions were really bad on the Bay of Biscay. There were 74 boats which started from Concarneau, and then first leg was to Lanzarote, and only 14 boats survived to Lanzarote.
14, unbelievable. So all of them had problems in the Biscayan Gulf.
Yeah, we had a terrible storm. Like they said that the wave height was like 12 meters and the gusts were close to 60 knots, and there were lots of capsized boats, and all skippers were saved, and that proved quite well that the rules for the safety on the mini transat already on 99 were on time. They were really good. But anyway, I had to go to Spain to repair my rudder. I broke my other rudder and I had to go land, but that was allowed. And
this
then
was allowed. Okay.
Yeah. And then I started again and ended up to Lanzarote. And after that, I just calculated minutes that when this horrifying experience is over. And I just like I said that I won't sail ever again.
So basically, you started your first experience in mini transat with like a storm with more than 40 knots of wind, just to start. Exactly the opposite compared to the start of this year of the Vendée Globe, when they left the Sable d'Olonne basically with 0 wind and they reached Finisterre with 10, 15 knots of wind.
They were so lucky.
Yeah, they were so lucky because they had no problems to any boats. Yeah. Amazing. Colleagues, do you have any question in the meantime for Ari?
Yeah. There is a question for Ami in the chat, Robert.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I'm eating, so I wrote my question in the chat because I'm eating too, as Ari.
Yeah, there is a question from Elena, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Elena,
yes.
right? She's asking if you have additional plan for sailing in the future. I mean, once you done you did the Vendée Globe, I don't know what else you could do in terms of sailing, but anyway, I'm really curious to understand this.
Yeah, there are several guys doing it now, like 5th or 6th time, like Jean Le Cam. And but that's their work. They do it for work, for living, and it's their lifestyle. And good friend of mine, Arnaud Boissiers, who is now there on 5th time, and he's amazing guy. He's done 4 Vendée Globes in a row to the finish, and now he's on the well going to do on his 5th. And yeah, I can somehow understand them, but for me as an amateur, and I have my daily work and my other life, and that was like huge work to get into that race. And when I was able to finish that, I was so happy. I was the happiest man in the world, I think, because
can imagine.
And now I realize it even like it's concrete now when I see the guys who are like Pip here who lost her mast last night, and then
Pip,
and Sabi, the Hungarian guy who bought my boat, and he's now on his way to Cape Town because he has some mast problems, and most probably he has to abandon the race on Cape Town, and it hurts me a lot. But on the other side, I'm really happy and relieved that I have done it, and I don't have to worry about it anymore, and I don't have to take that pressure and go through that anymore. It was quite hard to go through all the way, and the sailing was the small part. The biggest part was, of course, to get the fundings and get the boat to the start line in a proper condition.
And
so and I was running whole time. I was running out of the money, and I didn't have proper resources. So we calculated that we need about 2.5 million euros to make it properly. And then the French guys, they said that it's not enough. You need 4 million. And then
4 million.
Yeah, but and that was 4 years. That was like 8 years ago when we started, 2017. 7 years ago. And then we based it kind of Finnish tradition for volunteer working tradition, which is big in Finland, and that's how it actually worked. And finally, we didn't have even that 2.5. We did it both included, like 1.7, and that was amazing that we could do it like that in a shoestring budget, really low money, and we still were able to finish. But my only goal was that I have to. That was not only that I have to finish the race, but I have to finish the race with a boat which I can sell forward. So it has to be in proper condition after the around the world tour, so that I can get the money back. And I had with my wife, we put our house on the how do you say it, when we went to the bank to get loan for the boat.
You left the house, your own house, as a guarantee to the bank for the boat.
Yes. And then I started the Vendée Globe without insurance.
Really?
Yeah. Because the insurance, it cost 75,000 euros, and the deductible was like 170,000. So it below 250,000. I couldn't get anything from the insurance, and then we didn't have that 75,000, so I had to go without insurance, and I had to do it properly. But
so you had two targets: to finish the Vendée Globe and to give back the boat, so that you had the possibility to remove the guarantee on the house, basically.
Yeah, to be able to sell the boat again.
Amazing.
That was stressful race, but of course it was happy also. I was super happy that I was there. I was privileged to be able to be there, and there were so many people who were doing so much just to see me on the start line. And then I just somehow, it was also a pressure on my head, because I didn't want to be the weak part of the chain. I had to prove my abilities to the friends who had been helping me, who had been putting so much into this project, that I didn't want to give them a disappointment.
Amazing. So you say that there were a lot of people that help you on a voluntary basis in order to prepare and to support you during the race, basically.
Yeah, and some of those guys started with me already in 98 when I started my first mini project. And then, as you can see on the map, Finland is quite far away from the places where these things happen.
Yeah.
And we are quite far away on the culture of that kind of happenings. There are lots of very good Olympic class dinghy sailors in Finland and offshore racers, but not this kind of thing. And those guys who were involved, the good thing is that they were really clever. And when I took them with me to France to help me before the start and with the boat, they learned really well things that how this kind of boat has to be maintained, how this kind of boat has to be prepared to be able to finish the race. And that's also one big like miracle, that with these voluntary guys who were not professional, who were not from France, who were not involved in this kind of sailing, they could squeeze in all the information, all those happenings when they were with me in France, and they learned, and they finally were able to prepare the boat and to make it ready for the Vendée Globe.
Also, because I believe that during such a race, you need also anyway support from your short team that is based on the land. I mean, if you need something, for sure you cannot ask for any weather suggestion, stuff like that. But technically, you can have support, right?
Yes, and that was good, because those guys knew me quite well, and they could even tell of my tone of my voice that if everything is okay or if it's not. And it was quite nice relationship, and yeah, they were helpful. I had one colleague, a pilot, Jukka Jaskari, who was with me already on the 2003 mini transit project, which didn't end up well. I didn't get the place to participate, but anyway, he had been there 20 years helping me, and as a pilot, he knew also how to prepare, how to the main thing on that kind of project is the preparing, and on the preparing you have to be able to think that how we can make it safely. I think it was like a pilot's way that I was able to do it. So it wasn't on the schedule, it wasn't on the economics, it was just the safety.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the economics came back with the safety when the boat was in good condition when I arrived, and I was able to sell it.
And you say that there were pilots, so your colleagues, some of your colleagues that supported you, helped you during this experience. And what about your company? I mean, Finnair, did you have any support from them? In addition to the fact that you were free for such a long time in order to be able to make the race?
The other project which didn't end up so well was 2016. I had rented the Imoca 60 for a race called New York Vendée.
Okay, yeah, the
race back from New York Vendée, and then the British guy who was sailing with the boat from UK to New York on that race, he injured during the race, and they had to pick him up with a cargo ship, and the boat was left alone in the middle of the Atlantic Sea, and boat was lost. And I was in New York waiting my rented boat to participate the race. And on that race, I had a Finnair main sponsor, and the boat was already branded to Finnair, and then it didn't end up so well. So that was kind of catastrophic thing for me.
I can imagine. Unbelievable. What a story.
Yeah.
And which were the most, let's say, difficult moments that you have experienced? I mean, someone could think about Atlantic. Then now we have seen these images from the Indian Ocean that are really impressive. And then and they have just reached now half of the track. At least the first three guys that are running now, they just passed the anti-meridian today. So which were the most critical moments that you have experienced during the race?
I think the first was already like three days after start, when we had those big fronts, two big fronts which we had to pass, went through, and the first one went okay, but the second one was really nasty, and then when I was passing that front, the wind turned like 90 degrees in the minute, and I was inside the boat taking a nap. That was pitch black on the night, and very heavy seas. And then, of course, I couldn't keep the autopilot on the wind mode because the seas were so heavy. I had it on my compass mode, and when the wind turned, it went on the wrong side of the sails. And I had my keel fully canted, and of course I had only the smallest jib J3 and 3 reefs on main, so I didn't have too much sail area on, but still, when the wind went to the other side, the boat heeled over, and when the mast went to the water, and when I was inside
90
the boat,
degrees.
Yeah,
tilting.
more than 90 because the mast top goes to the sea. So that was the most horrifying point on my race, and I had never experienced that, but when I had, of course, heard many of those happening on the other skippers. And because of those stories which I've heard, I just could calm down myself and climb up to the cockpit. And the cockpit was quite odd because the floor was like a wall and the side benches were like floors. And I had to stand up in a very different like position and try to secure the mast, put the runner in before I could lose the other one, which the mainsail was lying on. And then finally I got the keel, canted keel to turning to the right side and then the boat straightened upside and I could continue. I didn't lose mast, but on that time I broke some of the system which was compensating the mast angle because on my boat was rotating mast.
Rotating mast, okay.
And the mast sensor was under the mast and it got some hit, and after that I had to sail around the world without proper wind information from the mast head unit. God. Because the mast was like when it was rotated, I just had to put the decrease the compensating numbers to manually via computer to BHC system. Every time when I made a jibe or tack, I had to do that again, and I just calculated about how many degrees the mast is now rotated, and then I put that onto the system.
And so basically, you lost the transducer that is on the bottom of the mast, providing the information to correct basically the wind station, which is on the top of the mast.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then it was a bit harder to sail around the world with, because that happened on the third day. But yeah, the sea is so powerful, and there were some rope backs on the mast side when I capsized, and even those backs were like sewed in to the places. They went away. There was some winch handle and some stuff inside those bags. So I didn't have any rope backs anymore on the mast of the third day. Then I did it 113 days without those, but it wasn't a crucial thing.
Okay, luckily.
Yeah,
luckily it was not so necessary.
And the most critical thing wasn't even losing the mast, but I could have injured very badly because I was napping on the side of the boat, and the boats are like almost 6 meters wide. And when you are on the side of the boat, I was on the lower side because that was the only place to keep myself there in the position. And then when it capsized, I rolled this 6 meter from new topside to the down bottom of the side of the boat. And on that point, I could have injured badly, but that I was really lucky that nothing happened. I didn't broke my arm or leg or anything, or my neck.
Unbelievable, really unbelievable. And which are the emotions and the feelings that you experienced being alone in the ocean at the night, having such an experience? I mean, in addition to, I think, a bit of scare that it's, I assume that it's normal. How do you, I mean, I think that also the mental preparation for such a race is something that is fundamental.
Yeah, but that's what I thought when I started my mini project on 96 and finally ended up to the start line on 99. I was quite scared at how my body and my mind will react when I'm alone, like 3 weeks. And on the minis, because they are really hard boats, you don't have any satellite communication systems. You don't have any chart plotters. You don't have any computers. You are there really alone. And you have to make all your decisions with all the experience and knowledge which you have on that point and if you don't have tools or spare parts, you have to be able to improvise like they did in Apollo 13 space flight. So it's and there is no one to ask help because you don't have any connection to the outside world. So that is, I still think that it's kind of, even the races are sort of like only crossing Atlantic, but still it's like very hard class and good way to qualify for bigger races like Vendée Globe. And on the Vendée Globe, it's a bit easier because you are alone and you are scared, but you have a good communication system as they have now. All the boats have Starlinks.
Yeah.
And they can spend the whole day in the internet or in having WhatsApp calls or something like that, and it helps a lot to the loneliness. You don't feel so lonely anymore in these big boats, and you have a good shelter around you, so that makes it much easier for your head, for your mind to survive. But
yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
I think it was like step by step, and when I started my projects for Mini Transat 3 years before the start, I think my mind comes with me, my head comes with me when I prepare the boat, when I do the qualification sailings and races. The head is preparing at the same time, and then finally when I started to the big unknown, I felt quite ready. I was like ready to do that, and I think it's something which human is built so that way, that if you start to prepare something big, your mind will follow, and your mind will also be ready when the time is.
This is really interesting. I mean, basically, you say that when you are so focused on a project like preparing a solo sailing, crossing the Atlantic, or making the race around the world, basically at the end, also your mind get adapted to the situation, and basically when you start, it's ready to bear this kind of new world, new way of living, because basically it's a long time. You spend weeks in the case of the Mini Transat, or month in the case of the Vendée.
Yeah. But that's all. That's of course only my idea of that thing. But I think it's quite the same with the other guys. But of course, most of the guys, all the guys are nowadays professional sailors, and they have professional people to prepare them, like sports psychologists and that kind of things. I didn't have that kind of prepare, but I had prepared since 2002. I met a doctor who were really interested and involved on the sleep patterns.
Okay.
And he was a good help for me since then, and that has been really helpful for my work also, because nowadays when we fly, we have like 13-hour flights, and we have 4 pilots, 2 captains, 2 co-pilots, and we have shifts almost like in the boat. And we have a sleeping room with the bunks, proper bunks, and then we have almost half of the flight time with the 4 pilots. We have rest time. So in 13-hour flights, we have like 6 hours to sleep, and we divide that almost every time in 3 parts.
Okay.
So it's like 3 times 2 hours, and preparing for that kind of races has helped me a lot to do my work also.
And how many days before the departure of the race had you to start this kind of habit in terms of sleeping?
I didn't do that at all.
Okay.
I spent like normal life, as normal as I could, but of course before our Vendée, COVID was there, and it had a big role on the preparing, and every 3 days we had to be tested, and the boat had to be like secured, and there were no other people than me and my closest ones who were helping me in the start allowed to go to the boat on the last 4 days. And and my start was quite nice because I had a place one on the pontoon. That means that I had to go out as a last boat. So my time to leave the pontoons was around 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was able to go to Boulangerie in the morning and buy some nice bread and have a good breakfast, and that was quite nice and easy morning. Even my mind was like running quite fast, but still I try to calm down and make things as normal as possible.
Fantastic, really. There are a couple of questions from the colleague connected. First of all, everybody saying thank you very much for all the experiences and the emotions that you are bringing to us. There is one question related to making races alone or with a team. Which are the main differences, and what do you prefer in terms of type of sailing?
For me, the solo sailing was the thing, because even in our work we have as I told, 3 or 4 pilots and at least 2 pilots. We have a crew as normally we have on the boats also, but then somehow on my mind that was a big pleasure to be there alone, be able to do all the things needed alone, to survive alone. And even of course before the start there were on the Imilka project like 50 different people who were helping me, and 10 of them were there, like spent lots of time there. But then the sailing itself, it was kind of rewarding to be able to do all that stuff alone, to make the routings, to take care of the boat, to be able to sail, and to be able to take care of myself, and to be able to. It's quite amazing. Even now, I'm still sometimes I'm amazed at what was it me, how could I do it? It's because it's quite amazing. And actually, when I was there like 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, 1 week before the start, I went with my wife to Sable d'Olonne to see the guys who are leaving the pontoons and see the boats and meet friends since minis. And on that time, I realized finally that I have done it already. So
I'm here.
that was amazing feeling. And I was telling about the Arnaud, who I met him on 99 Mini Transat. We were there both racing, but he couldn't do it as there were only half of the fleet after repairings who could sail all the way to Caribbean, to Guadeloupe. So on 74 boats, there was like 37 who were able to finish. But Arnaud wasn't there. And now he has done 4 times Vendée Globe to the finish line in the row, and now he's there on the 5th time, and I'm quite sure that he will do it to the finish line also this time.
Probably will do it. So you mean Arnaud Boissier, right?
Yeah, Arnaud Boissier, yeah.
So la Micaline.
The Michalin, yes, yeah.
La Micaline, yeah.
So he's very nice guy, and he has been helping me a lot. And actually, I bought this boat, which is on the pictures, from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This was his boat. Okay.
Yeah. He had a good position with his sponsors, and before 2020 race, 2017 summer, he had 2 boats because his sponsors wanted to that wanted to give him a possibility to get a better boat, and this boat was a bit older, and that's why they sold this one.
Okay.
So,
amazing. So basically, it's a community. In general, how many people do you believe are within this community of solo sailors? Because at the end, it seems that they are more or less always the same. It's a group of people that made, as you say, the mini transat, and then maybe they made some races on the class 40 or the Figaro, and then they moved to the IMOCA. So at the end, it's like a big family of people all knowing each other, that they attend this kind of events.
Yeah, it's very funny because since my solo sailing career started when I went there on '96 first time to see those guys in the pontoons, and since then there are still same people, and it's really like a family, and it's really nice to go there because you feel like you're going home, and they are the people who are they understand you and you understand them, and they even, I don't speak any French, and I can't communicate with them, but still I feel that we speak the same language and we think the same way. So it really kind of keeps us very close and together, because everyone knows that how hard it is to be there and how hard it is to get there. And then it started from minis already on '99. It was so nice to notice that we did everything we could to help our fellow competitors to get them on the start line. We did lots of things for them, even from Lanzarote.
Yeah.
We waited 2 days extra. We postponed the start because one of our fellow competitors had to go also to Spain to repair some of his boat
Fantastic.
parts. And then
this
he
is
came.
really the right spirit for a
Yes,
competition.
Yeah, we made everything we could to help each others to get on the start line. And when we went to the sea, we were racing but really fair game, and that was so good spirit. I mean, it's still there. So that's what I'm happy that I have been in that community, and in that I have been able to experience that kind of spirit.
Are you still in contact with some of them?
Yeah, actually this morning we sent a message with Pip here, and Pip has done mini also, and lots of people, and we have a cottage in Lapland in northern part of Finland, which is very beautiful, and I like the when it's like lots of minus 20, even minus 30, and Pip came there for a few days when his boat was on a big refit, and we had really good time there. And now I've been inviting all the people from the community to, whenever they have time or if they want, they are always welcome to experience something different.
Yeah, something different, but staying again always with this spirit of friendship and full support to everybody.
The support, yes, is you can feel it. You can almost feel it, like it's so real.
Yeah, I was reading this morning an article about what happened last night to Benjamin Ferrer, that had a problem with the ram of the Canting Kill.
Yeah,
and they say that the biggest support that was provided, in addition for sure, was from Jean Le Cam. Jean Le Cam that spoke with him for hours, explaining how to try to solve the issue and at least to fix the situation.
So it's that is one thing which is so like nice to be there. So
And you really need to be able to do everything, because we see here in the picture, these are the pictures taken by people, unfortunately, this morning with the mast completely destroyed that fall down. And here on the bottom, there is the backup solution that, did she use the boom in order to have this emergency mast, or is it something that you have on board as an emergency equipment?
I think this is maybe part of the outriggers.
The outriggers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like round and shaped so that it's, and they are prepared for those. They have some attaching points on those booms so that they can use them as a jury rig. So that has to be prepared, because if you like Pip 800 miles away from the closest land, so it's and those kind of weather conditions,
it's a problem.
Dato la mano per la traduzione, Roberto.
Yeah, just a second, I make a translation.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't understand this last part because I don't know the term in English about.
Te lo posso spiegare in italiano. Just a second, I translate in Italian.
Yeah, no problem.
Se appunto Pip Air stanotte ha disalberato dopo una planata, probabilmente è ingavonato e ha detto che l'albero ha ceduto. Sugli Mocha ci sono queste protuberanze che escono all'esterno, che servono come controventatura delle sartie, perché i carichi sono molto elevati, la barca sarebbe stretta e l'albero molto alto. Praticamente lei cosa ha fatto? Ha preso, siccome ha disalberato, quindi non aveva più necessità di queste controventature laterali, ne ha presa una e l'ha utilizzata come, diciamo, albero d'emergenza, montando poi la tormentina. E diceva appunto
Qual è
Ari,
il termine in inglese che ha usato per chiamare questa parte?
Questa parte si chiama
outrigging.
Outrigger.
Okay.
Outrigger.
Yeah.
And now she has to proceed till Australia, but we are talking about 800 miles, nautical miles, so it's quite long.
It will take at least, she's having now run 4 knots of speed, and with that kind of speed, she can make like 100 miles in a day per day. So it takes like 10 days easily.
Yeah.
So
quite a long journey till there.
Yeah, I think she's just about to miss the Christmas time also. But yeah, that's how it is. That's part of the game, and they all know it. And then but the bad thing is that if you are in the really low with your resources with the budget, that was the most scary part for me, that if I have to abandon with the boat to Australia or something, what happens to my house?
Because you have to take the boat back. And she said today that one of the most important thing for her will be to reach Australia and then to fix the problems and to move back the boat to Europe.
Yeah,
not an easy matter. Yeah.
No, it's a big task. There are 2 options. One is I know that she has a spare mast, so one is to get the mast to Australia, but it's quite a big thing, like very expensive, like 27 meters high carbon tube.
One single piece. Yeah.
And then the other way is to transport the boat by cargo to Europe, but both ways it's gonna be very expensive.
Very expensive, extremely expensive. Now I have a question that it's back to Jean Le Cam philosophy, because we know that Jean Le Cam has this new boat because it was designed a couple of years ago. It's a very modern in terms of hull, but he doesn't like the foils. He wants to have the dagger boards, and you had the boat with the dagger boards. So since the previous edition, when we saw that also Jean Le Cam made a great result, it was very close to the foil boats. This year, it seems that the foil boats are far away from the dagger. What do you believe in is it safer to have a, let's say, more traditional boat in such a race? Because we know that there are also a lot of objects in the water, and we saw with Sebastian Simon that he lost one foil, and basically now he has a boat running like a traditional one when he is on one side, and with the foil when he's on the other side. So a very hybrid condition.
Yes, yeah, and I know Salnikam, when I started the project in 2016, when I rented the IMOCA for the one race, which didn't end up well, and I met Salnikam on the IMOCA meetings on that year, and he wanted to have IMOCAs like one design boats, like Volvo Ocean Race boats were, and it was his idea to keep the costs like reasonable and make the race like more easily to get in, but I'm pretty sure that with these new foils and with the new developments of the boats, the race is more interesting, and there are more people watching the race, and that makes more money to come in via the sponsors, and that somehow keeps the race interesting, because the Volvo race, as we saw it, finally didn't interest too many people, and they had to stop that, and now they are doing that with the IMOCA boats.
Yeah, and it's completely different.
Yeah, it's totally different. But even the risk is big that you will lose a foil or hit something or break it without even hitting anything, and the loads are huge for the boat. Now, as we can see now, there has been many mast breakages since the new foils came in. The loads for the mast are huge nowadays, and the one design mast was designed to make it like proven and reliable mast, and now it's turned on the other way, that the mast are the weak point of the boats nowadays.
Yeah, and I read that now these new boats are full of sensors in order to detect the strength level of the structures at the end, and they have continuous warnings if they are exceeding these safety levels.
Yeah, they have they can have like hundreds of sensors around the boat, and even inside the foils and everywhere, and that's made a like huge demand for the computers which they are running on the boats, and that's also, of course, takes more energy. You need more electrical power than before, because you have to run complicated programs on the computers to be able to know what's going on the boat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Roberto, the question from Mauro in the chat
is yes, please.
If you read it, is quite related to what Ari was just saying.
Yeah, there is a question for you, that you're a pilot. So do you feel safer on an airplane or on a sailboat?
And now, how many instruments, how many tools, how many sensors do you have on a boat too? But going back to Mauro's question.
Yeah, that's true, but it's kind of the same, because what I liked on the IMOCA class was, or is still, the strong safety culture, like in aviation. They have a very strong reporting culture. If something goes wrong, they'll report it, and they will thoroughly investigate what happened, and then they make improvement. They have really good technical committee with the experienced professionals trying to find out the weak points of the boats and on the safety side. And then every 4 years since '96, when was the big catastrophic year when we lost Jerry Ruffs, and the race was really horrible. since then we haven't had any fatal accidents on IMOCA. Even we have lost boats, quite dramatic situations, but no fatal accidents. So, and every time they find something which they can improve, it's like in aviation.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, the report will be made, and then the thing will be investigated, and then there will be some improvement on the systems or in the procedures or in the emergency equipment or something like that. And that's pretty same in class IMOCA, and that was very interesting for me because it was so close to my work.
Yeah,
and I was happy to see that, and because it's totally different. For example, the GGR race, which is around the world nonstop with the old-fashioned boats.
Oh yeah, like the Golden Globe race, stuff like that.
Race, yeah. So that I don't like that race because it's kind of a hazard thing to do with those boats, and I even how I think about it, I can't make it safe on my mind, and I'm worried about those guys who are participating. And now there is a quite young Finnish guy also trying to participate on the next one, and I met him. I know him well, and I met him a few weeks ago, and I spoke him really straight on these problems on his class, and let's see what happens. But there are lots of like basic problems on that race. And it starts from the boat, because those boats are so slow, and they can't escape any bad weather systems.
Yeah, you've touched a very important point. Being slow doesn't mean safer at all, because basically,
no.
if you are close to a front cold, you get the front the cold front in front of you against you, and you cannot do anything. You just have to accept it. You cannot escape. You cannot change your strategy at the end. So it's even worse compared to the IMOCA, that now the fastest is basically running faster than the front moving, basically.
Yes.
And it's really unbelievable.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and with the Golden Globe race, when they don't have any communication systems other than HF, they don't get the weather forecasts, and they get run over by all the weather systems which are coming. And it's catastrophic. When we saw the first edition in 2018, there were 18 boats and 5 managed to finish. And in 2022, there were 15 boats and only 3 managed to finish the race. So it's amazing that they are allowed to make that kind of race. But that's one thing, that the guy who runs that happening, he makes it by himself, and there is no sailing federation or national sailing federation on that race involved. It's totally outside of all the sailing federations and made by him alone, and that I think no sailing federation could accept that kind of race.
So basically, it's like coming back to the period of Bernard Moitissier. So we are back of 60, 70 years in the sailing. Yeah.
yeah. And that's crazy when you see the losses of the boats, and we still haven't lost any sailor, which is good, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But there has been many close calls.
So basically, for the IMOCA, it's a mix of good preparation and rules for the boat, but also good preparation of the sailors in order to be trained to face also dramatic situations.
Yes, as we saw in the Pips situation, and the guys, because they are so remote areas, and it's kind of honor to the sailor also, because we are going there on our own. We don't want to bother the organizations who are saving professionals at the sea, because we are there like not professionals on that way. We are doing that for some other reasons, our fun or something, but we are not there for work on that kind of way.
Yeah, I was reading that basically this limitation of the Arctic zone. So basically, that increase the degrees in close to Australia was a specific request of Australia, saying, guys, if you want to pass through here and you want support from us, you need to sail closer to us.
Yeah, that's true. That's why it's so straight line, and it doesn't. It's not, that's not like for the ice gate. It's for the safety.
For the safety, yeah. It's really impressive. And have you experienced any situation where you had really to make important repair activity on the boat during the race, or were you able to keep the boat as safe as possible to the end?
I was able to keep the boat in one piece. That was horrifying idea for me that if I could have or should have done something like I don't remember the guy who did his mast track repair, but when
I remember in just close to New Zealand many years ago.
Yeah. So it was horrifying me that all on top of all that work for the sailing on that kind of boat and taking basic care of the boat, I would have some really big repairs to do, and that was horrifying idea. But at the sea, in the middle of nowhere, so it would have been really not so nice. I had one blackout on my boat, but that was due to hydro generators, because even how clever they are and how good they are for producing electrical power, they have their weaknesses, and one was that when we had these new lithium batteries which had their own battery monitor systems, when they came fully charged, they started to protect themselves, the batteries itself, and they closed themselves to protect them from charging, and then the hydros couldn't react fast enough to that closing on the battery, and then the voltage went up to 30, 36 even, and then it burned some
the magnets, the coil inside,
yeah. So that was why I had one blackout, but I was able to fix the fuses and get the boat running.
And were the hydro generator and the solar panel enough for your energy need, or did you have also to use the engine in order to charge the batteries?
They were basically enough, but I had for me it was crucial to have enough electrical power to be able to run the autopilots and of course the communication and computers. But anyway, that's why I had as most of the boats have nowadays, still 3 different systems to produce electrical power. And one was the hydros. I had two hydros on each side of the boat, and then I had a third one as a spare one.
Okay.
And all those were like good for each other spare parts. So I had a quite reliable system with the hydros, and then I had 360 amp hour battery capacity, which I never let it go under half of that. Even you could like go down to 20% easily with the lithium batteries, but I wanted to keep them half full always, because if when I started to charge the batteries, if I'd had some problems with the charging system, then I have still like 24 hours time to solve the problem before my electrical power is used to the end. And then I have the diesel engine and big Balmar 170 amps charger with a special like controller to that to get most out of that. And I know that those guys, when they calculated all the kilos which they took on board with the spare parts and tools and diesel, and they took only the minimum 9 liters diesel, which was mandatory, and I had 250 liters of diesel with me. Even I had 3 hydros, and then on the top of that I had not so much, but 360 watts of solar panels. So I thought that even if I lose all the 3 hydros, and if I lose my generator on the diesel, I had a spare generator, of course, with me also. But then I still have the solar panels, which are just enough to run my third autopilot, which was basic Raymarine.
Okay, and basically, the typical ST2000s, the same that we have on our basically.
Yeah, so I thought that at least I can then go somewhere if that happens at the end of the race. I managed to finish the race, but I did all what I could when we were preparing the boat, so that I'm able to finish the race. And I had lots of spares, lots of tools, and lots of redundancy on the boat.
Yeah, and I think that this is the key point in order to be able to finish this kind of events, because I mean, you need to be absolutely independent from everything during the race. I was watching a video tonight about Antoine Corniche, that is another amateur that basically had a problem with the rail during a gust a couple of days ago. He had the main sail rail that was basically completely detached from the mast and destroyed.
Yes. Yeah.
And he had to use basically, I think it was a rail that was for the spinnaker of the boat that was in front of the mast.
Yeah.
And he reused a portion of that, and today was able to fix it in this small island that I was not even aware that it was existing. Some Poland, a little Amsterdam.
Yeah. And he had to anchor the boat there. Yeah. So it's also the idea of anchoring IMOCA with the anchors which we had on board. That was also a horrifying thing to do. But he made it, and he is now back on the race.
Yeah, he's back on track. So this is exactly the time of spirit that is driving all the sailors that are basically attending such an event. You need really to be enough flexible to try to solve everything with thinking out of the box, basically.
Yeah, and for me it was really helpful that I had the aviation maintenance background. I started as an aviation maintenance side, and I worked there 10 years. And that on that time when I was trained on the school for aviation maintenance or mechanic, I think the idea came into my mind on those years that you have to be always on the safe side, and you have to do all the things as well as you can, because someone else's life is depending on your work. And that was the way we did the preparing for the IMOCA, for the Vendée Globe, and that's how I was able to do it. And since before that, all the mini races and all the races with Pogo and all the Atlantic crossings, I have to knock on the wood, but I have never had to abandon on the race on those circuits on myself. So that's also quite nice. I haven't been there for so much for racing or getting the podium places. I have been there for like adventure and for getting the experience. But yeah, that's also one thing which has come on that kind of thinking of preparing.
Ari, big question. How did such an experience change you?
That's a good question. Maybe my wife could answer better. But somehow I've been really calm, and there has been a new kind of peace in my life and in my doings and in my hobbies, and because that was kind of thing that was itching on my head, the Vendée Globe, since 96 when I first time saw those boats. And then I went to those pontoons every 4 years, like 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016. And all those times I thought that I was so relieved, and I thought that, well, it would have been such a horrifying idea to jump in the boat and go out and sail around the world, or try to sail around the world. I was so relieved that I could instead jump on my car, drive to Paris and fly back home and continue my normal life. But still I couldn't get over it without trying. And then on 2020, on the 7th time when I was on the pontoons, I was there doing it myself. And now when I was there before the start of this edition, which was my 8th time, I was I had so big peace in my mind, and I was so happy. And I think that has somehow changed my life, that I'm happier.
This is a very nice reply. I mean, being happier anyway, it's something that it's one of the biggest reward that you can get from such an experience at the end. So being there and see something that you were able to achieve as a target was, I think, was amazing. And you had also the opportunity to meet again Alex Thompson. I think that he supported you as well during this adventure.
Yeah, maybe he was kind of the main person to get me going, because he was so supportive on 2016 when he had his good race and he finished second. Even he had another foil broken, and he saw me, and I saw him in New York because he was doing the New York Vendée race.
Yeah,
and he was so sad that I didn't have the boat, and I was so keen to go into the IMOCAs, and he just said that, don't worry, Ari, and I will come to Finland on 2017 with my boat. He had a plan to do a Nordic tour, and he did it, and I was able to sail his boat with his crew. Alex wasn't there, but from Poland, from Sopot, southern part, from Baltic to Helsinki, that was like 600 miles. And I got a chance to sail his boat. And then when he arrived himself to Helsinki, he offered me 2 sailings that I could invite my sponsor candidates. So I was able to take 10 sponsor candidates of each of those. So 20 sponsor candidates totally. And Alex kept then the speech before we went to sail in our club, sailing club, he explained those people that what kind of business this kind of sailing is, because it's business. It's not the sailing. It's a big business.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a big jump and leap forward on my project. And since then, that was 2017 during June, and 2017 August. After 2 months, I had my own IMOCA, which I had to buy myself, of course. But still, I started the project, and I was really into that.
So basically, again, also from him, there was a big support in helping you, also in terms of managerial stuff of this kind of event, because he's a manager of the competition, not just a sailor at the end.
Yes, that's true, and he gave me all his material, that how this kind of sailing and racing is turned to business, how this is made, how much it will like benefit, what is the return of the investment, and all that kind of classified information. He gave me slides which I could show to my sponsor candidates, that this is how it works. And
Fantastic.
that was very impressive. Yeah.
Fantastic. This is great. I was there this year as well in La Sablon, and I was able to meet Alex Thompson. He was at the cafe at the village, and I just closed him and said, "Mr. Thompson, may I take a picture with you?" I was so emotional, so thrilled to meet Alex Thompson. That for me was just a fantastic sailor that I have followed for the last couple of editions. And I was very sad for him, because I think that he would have really deserved to win this race, but unfortunately, it was not lucky enough. Yeah, lucky enough.
Yeah. That's the part of the game. But and he always told me that how do you like measure your success? He has never won a race in IMOCA class, and he is the most successful IMOCA racer still in terms of return of investment for the sponsors. So he always like measured his success by the return of the investment for the sponsors, and it was his work, and it paid off. I think he still get his living from that kind of business.
Yeah, I think so.
And that was a good lesson for me also, and I tried to do everything for my sponsors that they will benefit, and I do what I promised, and I give them back like at least 10 times. But on my case, when I had so little sponsor money, I think they got rewarded like 100 times on the investment.
Fantastic. So basically, they supported you for not for, as you said, for the purchasing of the boat itself, but for all the other background activities.
Yeah. I got lots of that kind of support.
This was very important, because at the end, I mean, I think that no one really completely alone can afford this kind of budget. Also, because I read that now the budget is growing up exponentially, edition after edition of the Vendée.
Yeah, I think that well, the French guys said on the 2017 that 4 million is minimum. I think it's double of that nowadays.
Yeah, I was reading that the top team invested something like 12 million, something like that, for the boat and for the complete expedition, the 2-3 years of training and races that you need to do before. So it's a huge investment at the end. I mean,
yeah, I think that totally they have to spend with the boat, including like more than 20 million. Those guys who are aiming for or those teams who are aiming for the podium or top 10.
Unbelievable.
But then when they sell the boat afterwards, they may gain back like 5 million but that might be the maximum what they can gain back from that 20 million which they put in 4 years. So it's very expensive, and now they have the age limit on the boats. Also,
Okay.
it's 20 years now. And I'm a bit worried about Sabi's case because the Hungarian guy who bought my boat, and he knew that age limit. My boat was built on 2007, and the next race is 2028.
So
So
too late.
Too late. And now if he has to abandon the race on the Cape Town, and then he has a boat which is very hard to sell to anyone, and it's a not so nice situation.
And do you believe he will have to abandon with this problem with the shroud, or it's something that he could try to solve, being let's say in a quieter area, able to make his repairs better as possible?
I think those routes, they are PBO, and they are so strong, and I don't think that it's possible to repair that kind of thing with any. I know that he has lots of dynamo on board and lots of things for repair, but on that type of PBO, I think it's not possible to
fix it
to fix it, and then especially when he has the whole Southern Ocean to sail around. If this happens after Cape Town, it might be possible to do something. After Cape Horn, it might have been possible, but on this point, I'm not sure.
Yeah, also because at the end there is a limit for the maximum period of time that you can finish the race at beginning of March, right? So anyway, it would be too late for him.
That's a mark which I left to the history, because I was the last one on the last edition, and that time is my finishing time.
Ah, really?
Yeah. And
so you have fixed a limit now.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they will do it now every 4 years, and they will make it tighter and tighter.
They will adjust it, yeah.
I think because they want to keep the pack in kind of reasonable limit, and
also because I mean it also in terms of marketing and advertisement, I mean everything should be as concentrated as possible, because otherwise if you have a 6 month of race, probably there is a peak at the beginning, or let's say on the first month and a half of people interested in that, unless you are really a sailing lover. And then anyway the attention would drop down, but also for the sponsor this could be a problem.
Yeah, and it's very expensive to run the race organization also. So there are lots of people and work and facilities, and that's expensive too. So I think they want to cut those costs also.
Yeah. Probably that's the reason why. Colleagues, do you have any indirect question for Ari to be placed now? I'm checking on the chat if there is any.
Very inspiring, Ari. Thank you very much. I mean,
now we want to know.
It is such a unique experience. So,
is there someone connected tonight that after the speech of Ari would like to attend to the next Vendée Globe? No hands rising.
I understand from the sponsors. That will be the first thing we can say.
Guys, you're from a business school. You should know how to find sponsors.
But I recommend to try to get into Mini and to go there if you want to try single-handed racing. That's amazing class, and it's the only thing is that it's so crowded that it takes a lot of time and effort to get the place on the Mini Transat.
Because there are a lot of people in the waiting list basically to be able to attend.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
It's a problem. Yeah. And it's so French, so you have to move to France, maybe almost to be able to do that, to be able to go through all the races of the qualification races. And the problem is that all the qualification races are also full. So there are waiting lists for the qualification races.
Unbelievable.
So
Unbelievable.
that's really hard nowadays to get in, and the boats are also much more expensive nowadays what they used to be. And the program, because you have to be almost professional, you cannot work when you are doing this kind of project. You have to concentrate 100% on that.
So basically, you need a strong sponsorship from that that, and then again, you enter in professional sailing and a more amateur.
Yeah.
That's the
to
problem.
be able to live in France and cover all the coasts, and then you need maybe some people to work with you to help with the preparing the boat and to moving the boat around. So,
Ari,
but then anyway, it's a good experience. So, I recommend
if
that.
someone connected is willing to have an experience on the mini transat, you have to hurry up and to try to start buying the boat, and then to make all the process for the qualification of not the next event, because this is fully crowded, but maybe the next one.
Yeah.
Are you following the race? I'm sure yes, Ari.
The Vendée Globe, yes, I'm following. I just put my phone to the charge cable.
And what do you think of this impressive recovery of Ari GSoM, that was able basically to recover almost 600 miles in less than a week? Something impressive, really impressive.
Yeah, and the boats. I'm impressed that the boats are so much faster, the new boats, the new foiling boats, than they were on 4 years ago. So in 4 years they have had a huge development on these boats which are now there. And I think that Alex Thompson's record on 2016, when he made 536 miles, that was only beaten on this summer.
Yeah.
So that record was held by Alex almost 7 years.
And then now basically they are overcoming this record from Alex basically every week. Can we say that?
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
And, it's really unbelievable, and
unbelievable.
Yeah, and still they hold on in one piece, those boats.
And this is the other impressive thing. I mean, till now there were not so many accidents at the end.
No,
they're really reliable.
Only one is the Simon's foil, which broke down, but otherwise, like Charlie Dallin, he's doing so good work there, and I hope that there will be someday non-French winner, but it looks like it's very, very hard, and it's maybe not even possible.
I was thinking this year that could have been the right moment for Boris Herman. But it seems that his boat seems to be quite good for the Indian Ocean, but it was quite slow in the Atlantic. I saw it; it was very, very big compared to the other boats. I think also heavier.
Yeah, and it was good also on the ocean race with the crew. But now, I was expecting more from his boat and his experience, but now it seems that it's very hard to get back on the top 5.
To keep the pace of them, also because now they have this high pressure. It's basically exactly a barrier that is separating the second group from the first three. So basically, these are achieving and increasing the gap between the others. And unfortunately, we have seen that Tomaruyan, that was fourth, It was very, very close to your GSoM.
Yeah.
Basically lost almost 200 miles in a couple of days.
Yes. Yeah. That's a bit sad, but it's often on those phrases that as they say, rich get richer, and the guys who are in front, they somehow get better conditions always.
Up to now, they had this fantastic low pressure that brought them directly from Brazil down to Good Hope. And then they had the famous last week, 2 weeks ago, the famous low pressure where Dallin and Sébastien Simon decided to stay exactly in front.
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
That was crazy.
Really, it was unbelievable to see that. Really unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were on the edge. Just
Yeah.
reducing a bit the speed, you would have entered into the nightmare thing, because it was exactly below the front, the cold front. That would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
And the strategy of GSoM to go north and then to go down was probably a good solution in order to maintain the boat in a safe condition. Then he lost for sure 600 miles, but he recovered this so easily that it's 15 miles now. In the last 10 miles, nothing. Basically, they are engaged now.
It's amazing. They have been racing like 14,000 miles or something, and they are like half an hour away of each other.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. After more than 13,000 miles. And they check on the routage that basically they will reach Cape Horn more or less next weekend.
Yeah.
They
are so fast.
Yeah, they're incredibly fast, and now they are just few hours delayed compared to the record of Armelle Clash in 2016. So basically, I think that if the weather conditions are the right one, they will be able to do this. To pick it.
Yeah, it was a pity on that 2016 that Alex lost his foil, because otherwise, on that point when he lost his foil, I think he was like several hundred miles ahead of Armelle. And that boat was maybe the best boat which Alex has ever had. Since then, the next one on 2020 edition, I think it wasn't so good, and he wasn't so happy with that boat than he was on 2016.
I think it's the same boat that now is used by Justin Metro, right?
Alex boat is used by Alan Roura.
Alan Roura is the boat of 2020, right?
Yes, and the 2016 boat is Dutreux.
Benjamin Dutreux.
Benjamin, yeah.
Benjamin Dutreux. Okay, so he's using that boat.
Yeah.
And then this is. Did you use Adrena, I believe, as a software for routage?
Yeah, I did use that one.
I think that it's the standard for all the boats in the Vendée Globe.
Yeah, it's so French. The company and all the people who are developing that are French, and the whole program is so French that I think you need a French brains to make most out of it, because it wasn't so logic that what I thought. But as you know, in France, the logic is sometimes a bit different than.
Yeah, I use this one because it's open source. I really like it because there are a lot of functions that are really similar to Adrena. For sure, you don't have all the feature of comparison stuff like that, but I don't need it, and it's very nice. And last week I had the opportunity to follow a conference that was held by Christian Dumas. That it's Christian Dumas, that it's the meteorologist following the Vendée Globe. Is the one who founded basically Squid. He's a quite famous meteorologist, and it show now a software. It's amazing that they're developing basically a routage software that it's also based on artificial intelligence, for sure, for people that are not used to make routage by themselves. So basically, there are logic of self-learning the behavior of the boat and how you're sailing in order then to achieve a routage that is more or less reasonable. And anyway, it's really impressive to see the performance of these boats. I would have liked to have exactly the same polar that they are using. It's impossible. I tried to simulate let's say a reasonable polar chart for these boats, also trimming these during the race. Maybe it's not perfect, for sure it's not perfect, but at least I see that I'm more or less aligned with the performance of the boat, so I'm quite satisfied by my tool. And just to have an idea when they are passing through the most important points. So if we are running now the simulation for Paprec, that I believe will be in the first position tomorrow morning, if he's running so fast. And then there is another interesting point, that is the passage of Cape Horn, because basically the gap, the distance between Cape Horn and the exclusion zone is so small that basically if you have 50 knots of wind here, you have to pass through there. There's no solution at all.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a scary point of the race, because afterwards you are back on the civilization. Afterwards you are back on the more or less safe conditions, and lots of ships which can also help if something goes really badly wrong. And it's so big relief for me when I rounded Cape Horn. It felt so good. On that point I was like happy for that. I had been able to sail around the Southern Ocean, and I had made what I promised, and lots of pressure went down when I passed Cape Horn on that side, because that was the proof for the sponsors and proof for the people who had been helping me, and proof for myself that I was able to do it. And then it was just sailing back home, but still it's 7,000 miles. It's
a huge job to do.
It is like twice across Atlantic.
Yeah, because as you said, I mean, we are used to see this map that basically is a 2D map, two-dimensional map. The point is that in reality, I mean, the longest trip is in the Atlantic Ocean, going down and going up, compared to the miles of the Indian and the Pacific together.
Yeah, it is, and we had on 2020 lot of upwind. Almost the whole 7,000 miles was more or less
really upwind.
Yeah, so it was quite horrifying, horrible. And sometimes I hope that my boat breaks so that I could step out of the boat to some cargo ship to get out of there.
Because it was
I was so desperate.
So heavy.
It was so bad. Yeah, I was so desperate. But I was, of course, lucky that it didn't happen. But sometimes I was really so desperate that I was hoping that anything that I could get out of the boat there.
Yeah, also because this boat basically are designed to go basically from in the best condition from beam reach down to exactly stern wind. So this is the best condition for them, not for sure to go upwind.
No.
This is not their solution, not at all. And if you see again, I mean, if we check the GFS model, at the end they're still in the best possible sailing condition. Look.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfect. I mean, I think that with such a wind, they could do again speed records.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, they are always on broad reach.
Yeah,
and basically with good condition in terms of wind, and basically I think that they will use J0 probably in such a condition. I saw that they were using the J3 with 45, 50 knots of wind. It's completely unbelievable. I mean,
but the apparent wind is quite low because they are going so fast.
Yeah, they're always basically, they're trimming the sails always like a pin-up wind because they're so fast that it's really unbelievable. So probably, J0 is too big. The J3 could be enough to go through this condition, considering the upper end that they are able to have. So basically, you can see here the perfect condition for the first three. Meanwhile, if we see on the back for the other boats, they will always be in the middle of, let's say, in high pressure zone. So I think that the gap could increase even more. Could extend even more compared to the others. So it will be a nice competition here because now they are all squeezed, because basically the first one were blocked by this low pressure, and now all the others are reaching them. So I saw that from the Firth to Clarice Kemer and Samantha Davis, there is something like 200 miles, no more. So they're very, very close now, each other.
So it's not so nice for Thomas Ruand.
He was close to Sébastien Simon, and just for a few hours, he was stuck completely in this situation. And this is really unbelievable. This is really unbelievable for him.
Now he is waiting for the whole pack coming.
Yeah, basically he's there. I mean, he's already in the fifth position because there was Nicolas Lanvin that made the record in the. I think that he could make the next record because in the statistic it was 593 compared to 615. So additional few hours, few hours with the same speed, and he will overcome this record. Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah, but he has got also a very good boat, tested boat, which is proven for those conditions.
Yeah, because Holcim PRB already made the
ocean race.
The ocean race.
And they pushed that really hard on that race, and that boat won the ocean race. So
the boat won the ocean race.
It's proven boat for those conditions.
Yeah, because there were this boat, Malizia, Biotherm, and then also the boat of Sébastien Simon, that was the 11 hours, that now it's Groupe du Groel. Yeah. So they are also, I think it's also good because they were able to record a lot of data for their polar charts, also in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's more and more about the data which they record, and as they had an interview for the boat designer for Charlie Dallin's boat. He was on the Vendée Live show, and he just told that now after this race they have even more data to make improvement for the next boats, which are already on the design table.
Yeah, unbelievable.
They have nowadays so many sensors that they can collect valuable data.
And as you said, I mean, I think that also the complete change of paradigm was related to the use of Starlink. I mean, now they have the possibility to transfer such a huge amount of data.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically at a very low cost. You were using Iridium, right?
Yeah, that's funny because I just got some advertisement for Starlink Mini, and the device itself, it's like 300 euros comparing to our satellite communication system, which was 5,000 euros, and that was half the price of the and then the data which we had via Iridium, it cost like the normal price was 22,000 euros for 60 gigabytes, and for the race we got a 50% discount, so we paid 11,000 euros for
60 gig. Nothing.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
In terms of volume.
now on that Starlink mini package, they offer you 50 gigabytes with 40 euros.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Instead of 11,000 euros. So it's crazy now.
Yeah, and this in 4 years, basically.
Yeah.
This in 4 years.
Yeah.
But do you have Starlink on your caravan there?
No, that's what I've been thinking about that when I got those. I think that's why I have those advertisements on the Instagram, because I've been talking about that. They are listening me, and now
yeah, you could be a good witness of the capability of Starlink somewhere away from let's say from crowded areas.
Yeah, and there are lots of those kind of areas, even here in Norway, where the infrastructure is very well kept and nicely kept, but still there are places where there are no cover for the mobile phone. So I try to find a place which is as beautiful and nice to stay overnight, but still I'd like to have my mobile phone working. So maybe the Iridium Mini is the solution for that.
Anyway, just to tell you this joke. I mean, when I was there in the Sable d'Olonne, and I was on the channel to watch all the boats getting out, and I took the picture of all the boats, and the day after, I don't know why, I saw a video of Konrad Coleman, who's a very nice guy, very friendly.
He is.
And I saw on his website that there was the email. So I sent a message to him saying, Konrad, this was the picture that I took from the channel to your boat and to you while you were getting out from the Sable d'Olonne. So I really hope all the best and farewell to you. And after a couple of hours, he replied to me, like being in the office, say, oh my God, unbelievable. It's sailing towards Finisterre and he's replying to me by email. As you said, now basically they are connected 24 hours a day, like being at home. It's the same.
Yes, same.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And that will make a big difference for the sponsors also, because now they get such a huge amount of lots of pictures and videos
and this could also simplify the possibility to find good sponsors for the next edition, because basically now they will be fully covered by image, by pictures, so they will have really a very good advertisement event for them. So it would be perfect.
Yeah, true.
Guys, do you have any other question or curiosity for Ari? Because at the end, it was so nice and so great to talk with him that a couple of hours passed through like it was 5 minutes.
Guys, I could stay for another day or two probably. So when are you coming to Italy? I think we'll be glad to have you if you want.
Yeah, it would be nice to visit. Are you based on Milan area?
Yeah, correct. Milan area. Yeah.
So it would be nice to visit.
If you have the possibility, to be in Milan, give me a call, send me a message, and we will plan a dinner together in the city.
Yeah, would be nice. Yeah,
it'd be fantastic.
For me, it's quite cheap to fly all over the places, so it would.
I can imagine.
Nice
due to your job.
Yeah.
Maybe we can take you sailing on Lake Como or Garda. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe Garda, because it's used
6 miles,
40-50 knots. So
6 miles.
Yeah, but I've been there several times.
100 miles.
I've been there several times, and and there is very nice flying club in Lake Como.
Really?
They are flying with float planes.
Yeah. There is the floating airport, the international.
And I've had several times cup of coffee on that flying club there.
Oh.
And I do fly some small plane still, and I have a float plane license also, and I
really?
have a dream to go someday there to fly with a float plane in Lake Como from that flying club. And I know that it's possible. There have been some guys from Finland who have been flying there.
Yeah.
So that's
But
one
the point
thing on
is
my
once
bucket
you're
list.
there, that is the place where the least wind is on the Lake Como. So
Okay. Yeah.
you cannot drive you somewhere else.
But we can go. We can go.
Do you fly also gliders?
I used to. I've been flying around 60 hours, flying hours of the gliders, but
Wow.
that was like 40 years ago.
Wow.
But I still
It's an
like
achievement.
go
60 hours. Wow.
60 hours old totally on the glider planes. I have totally flight hours like 25,000 flight hours. But
And Ari, do you still sail now?
I have a boat. I found a cruising boat from Sweden 2 years ago, and then we sailed it to Finland, to Helsinki, to our home port. But last summer we did only one 3-night trip with the boat. But I spent like 2 weeks in the boat in our sailing club, because our sailing club harbor is in the small island, which is like 200 meters away from the middle of the downtown Helsinki. So it's very nice place to go and spend some time. You have your own cottage in the island, which is just a few hundred meters away from the city center. So it's very nice place to spend time. But yeah, hopefully next summer I'll have some more sailing days with the boat.
But sorry, after sailing with such a fast boat like the Mini Transat and the IMOCA, how do you feel sailing with, I don't know, an Alberasi or stuff like that? Is it boring?
It is a bit boring. That I have to admit that, because what I was dreaming when I was doing the Vendée Globe, I thought that it would be so nice to go to sail in the Finnish archipelago. It's so beautiful there, and I'm a member of sailing association which has 30 islands around the Finnish coastline, and they are really nice places. And I was dreaming that I could go spend some time on those islands with a sailing boat. And then I did that 2 years ago when I was sailing the boat back from Sweden to Helsinki, and I spent 15 nights on those different places, and finally ended up home port Helsinki. And it didn't like I somehow it almost felt like it was dull or something. I didn't get anything out of it, and that was a big disappointment for me, because I thought that I could enjoy a lot of that kind of way of spending time, but that didn't give me the reward.
Yeah, I can understand the reason why.
Yeah. But still I gave the boat a chance during last summer, second summer, and even we did only one 3-night trip. I decided to keep the boat and try it again next summer.
Otherwise, there is always probably some IMOCAs available after this race if you're interested.
Yeah, but I'm really enjoying now on this camping car living, and it's kind of the same elements. I can park the car beside the sea, like it's now on the seaside. The mountains are around me, and I have wilderness around, and I can experience the nature at its best. So
I can confirm that we are very envy of you.
yeah, and maybe the sailing thing is not so so on top of my list now, because during 3 years, when we got the boat on the water on April 2018, and when I finished the race on 21 March, so less than 3 years, I sailed 55,000 miles.
I will never reach this in my entire life. Yeah.
and around 45,000 of those miles were alone. So that's quite a huge amount of miles. Even those guys who are doing the Vendée Globe like 6th time, they do that every year, but still it was a lot of miles for me on top of my daily work and on top of other things I'm doing.
It's amazing.
So I think that now it's somehow time to do some other things also. There are so many nice things in the world and in the life what you can do, and I have done quite a lot of sailing now, and it's time for some other nice things.
As I said at the beginning, you made they call the Everest of sailing.
Yeah.
So now basically everything else will be something much easier compared to what you did before, and amazing. Guys, do you want to switch on the cameras so that we can make a greeting to Ari and to thank him and to say that we are waiting for him in Milan for sure, and then we can go to the lake for a nice soft sailing there because this is the case. And someone from the sailing club wants to say something to Ari and just to close the evening and the event.
Yeah, so apologies, I had to leave in the middle of the interesting conversation, but I will watch it again because I know we're recording it. I wanted to officially thank you, Ari, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Roberto, for organizing it as usual. This has been a great series of very deep dive into the Vendée Globe and the IMOCA and routing and all these very foreign side of sailing for us poor Mediterranean sailors. So thank you very much. I'm sure we all enjoyed your stories very much, your life stories very much, your personal anecdotes. You made us feel. It's probably also the context of the time that today we have the Vendée Globe going on right now. We're watching updates, daily updates from the web, having one of the champions of the of that very small club of people that did it made us feel part of it for a short while. So thank you very much. We really are waiting for you in Italy, and if you like, the sailing club can organize also an official event for you to join in our university. We can organize maybe an evening like this where we can have physical people in presence and meeting you face to face. And then, of course, like Roberto said, we're going to take you out to have some nice Italian dinners.
That's
so
very
thank you.
Nice to have be able to participate. Thanks for your invitation, and thanks for your invitation to Milan and to Italy. And I'm sure I will. We just have to arrange it. I will do it. I think it's just we have to find the right timing, and then we'll arrange it. But
we wait for you, Andrew.
Yeah, and waiting for that. Let's enjoy the Christmas time and make the next New Year even better than this has been, if it's possible.
Great. So thanks again. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy your camping. We're all very envious.
I will. Okay.
Thank you. See you soon, and fair wind to everybody. Buon vento.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao.
Have a good night.
See you. Bye bye.
Ciao a tutti. Grazie. Buonanotte.
Grandissima sconfitta. Ciao.